Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a single match in a dark room. Small, quiet, almost insignificant. If it stays alone, that flame eventually flickers out. But imagine that same match being used to light another candle, and then another, and another. Now imagine each person holding their flame out to the next person in line. Hundreds of candles, thousands of candles, an entire room, an entire stadium, eliminated by a single spark that refused to stay isolated. Here's the truth. Most people never realize that your freedom is not meant to stop with you. Your story is not meant to stay in your chest. Your healing is not meant to be hidden. Your transformation is meant to ignite transformation for others. Because freedom, real freedom, never ends with the person who receives it. It spreads, it multiplies, it ripples outward. Today, we're going to talk about that ripple. Because some victories are not just for your life, they're meant to shape the world around you. Welcome back to Unmasked. This podcast is where we take off the filters that keep us stuck and step into the kind of honesty that leads to real, lasting transformation. I'm your host, Wesley Farnsworth, and this is episode 31, final part of our 4-part mini-series, The Power of Community. In this last chapter, we're exploring something beautiful and profound. Freedom multiplies, the ripple effect of community. Because what God does in you is never just for you. So let's go there. One of the biggest myths in Christianity is that healing is a personal, private journey. Don't get me wrong. It starts personally. It starts privately. It starts quietly. But it doesn't stay that way. Healing that stays hidden is not healing. It's containment. If your healing never flows into others, the enemy keeps it small, and shame keeps it quiet. Fear keeps it internal, and pride keeps it private. But the kingdom of God doesn't work this way. Everything that God touches is meant to multiply. Grace multiplies. Hope multiplies. Faith multiplies. Healing multiplies. Freedom multiplies. God never gives anything with the expectation that you'll hoard it. He gives so you can give. He frees so that you can free. He restores so you can restore. Every healing becomes a lighthouse. Think about that. Think about a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships. It doesn't shout at them. It doesn't swim out into the storm. It stands where it stands, and it shines. And people in the darkness, they find their way, because someone else's light was visible from a distance. Your testimony, your healing, your growth, your victory, your courage, your honesty, your breakthrough, your progress, they all become lighthouses for somebody else's storms. Even if you don't know them by name, even if you never see their face, even if you don't know the impact, someone else will find their way because you stopped hiding. And that, my friends, is the ripple effect. When freedom helps somebody else open up, over the years, I've seen incredible things happen again and again. Every time I share a general piece of my story, somebody comes up to me afterwards, or messages me, or emails me, and says something like, "Thank you. I thought I was the only one." Or, "You just said out loud the very thing that I have been afraid to admit." Or, "Hearing your honesty gave me the courage to finally tell someone." Or sometimes even, "I've been struggling for years, and today I took my first step." And every time that happens, it reminds me that my freedom is not mine alone. Your courage gives someone else permission to be courageous. Your honesty helps someone else go first. Your vulnerability opens up somebody else's heart. Your healing becomes someone else's hope. This isn't accidental. This is how God designed it. So let's zoom out for a moment. Community doesn't just heal individuals, it heals generations. When you break a cycle, your children benefit, your marriage benefits, your friendships benefit, your atmosphere changes, your future changes, your family tree changes. When you choose healing, you're not just choosing it for today, you're choosing it for the next generation and the one after that and the one after that. Someone has to break the cycle. Someone has to end the generational patterns. Someone has to say, it stops with me. It changes with me. And it begins again with me. Whoever chooses freedom changes history. You'll be amazed at what one honest moment can do. One honest conversation, one confession, one tear, one story, one me too, one I'm struggling, one this is where I'm hurting. All it takes is one person willing to go first. Because that moment that someone goes first, everyone else realizes that they're not alone, that they're not crazy. They begin to think that I'm not worse than everyone else. I'm not beyond help. I'm not beyond hope. Community becomes a place of courage instead of comparison, and it begins with one spark. So let's talk about what grows out of healthy, honest, vulnerable community. The first one is courage. When people around you choose bravery, you'll start acting brave too. Next is honesty. Honesty spreads. When somebody tells the truth, it gives others the permission to tell the truth too. Third is compassion. When you see somebody else open up, it softens your heart towards your own wounds. Fourth is accountability. When you're surrounded by truth tellers, you become one too. Fifth is purpose. Community gives your healing direction. It becomes a part of what you offer the world. Sixth is stability. Being surrounded by believers who you see and believe, being surrounded by believers who see you and believe in you anchors your soul. Seventh is strength. Your weakness shared becomes somebody else's strength offered. And finally, freedom. Freedom is contagious among people who refuse to hide. This is why we don't fight alone. This is why God commands community, not suggests it. I remember the first time I heard somebody open up with a level of honesty that I wasn't used to seeing in church or ministry or community. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't emotional, and it wasn't polished. It was just real. It was raw. It was human. It was vulnerable. And something inside of me said, if he can say that out loud, maybe I don't have to keep hiding either. His honesty broke something inside of me. That is the ripple effect, because freedom is loud when spoken softly. Someone else's courage became the spark for mine. Maybe your courage will become the spark for someone else. Let's put this spiritually for a moment. Freedom is a calling, not a container. The Bible is full of language about multiplication. Words like seeds, fruit, harvests, generations, discipleship, nations, rivers, wells, light, salt. Nothing God produces is meant to stay small. In Isaiah 61, God says, you will rebuild ancient ruins. You will restore places long devastated. He doesn't just heal you, he makes you a healer. Jesus said, freely you have received, freely give. You were not changed so that you could stay quiet. You were changed and healed so that you could change the world around you. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, unless you're driving, and then don't do that. But if you're in a place that you can, close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, who in my life could be encouraged by my honesty? Who could be strengthened by my healing? Who might need my story? Who might be waiting for someone to go first? And then ask, where is God calling me to shine brightly instead of hiding quietly? Because the truth is, you're not responsible for saving anyone, but you are responsible for shining. And people in the dark look for light. So here's your challenge this week. Let your freedom touch one other person. Maybe that means telling your story, sharing a piece of your journey, opening up with someone struggling, inviting someone to your group, praying for somebody, encouraging someone who seems tired, or just being a safe place that someone needs. Your goal isn't to fix anybody. Your job is to simply show up with the freedom that God has given you and let it ripple. Thank you for joining me for episode 31 of Unmasked and for walking through this entire mini series, The Power of Community, with me. We exposed the lie that says that you can't handle life alone. We explored the sacred spaces that God uses to heal us. We walked through the necessity of brotherhood and sisterhood in the trenches, and today we discovered that freedom is not meant to end with us. It is meant to multiply. As you move into your week, remember this. You're not just being healed. You're being prepared. You're being shaped. You're being equipped. You're being made into the lighthouse for people that are still stuck in the storm, in the darkness, looking for hope. Your freedom matters. Your story matters. Your healing matters. Your community matters. You matter. And your ripple is only just beginning. God bless you.